I miss you. My sister's Chabura. How you doing?
I don't think it's
Same here. I miss you too. We're starting Chaim. We're starting a new Torah tonight, but like, I want to split the time a little bit if we do this, and I want you to get into it. We're starting a new Torah Samachay. I did not look at the Torah. I remember it from a long time ago, and I don't remember it well. And I decided that tonight we're going to do it mamish the way that we all do it. We're going to come to Torah Samachay with I know nothing, and we're going to try to learn together on how to learn the Rebbe's Torah's Be'in and how we're going to go with this for the next 2.5 months. It's for Rosh Hashanah, and I don't know how it's relevant to Rosh Hashanah, but I want to tell you, I'll share something. I'll start to share with the share, Chabura, of sharing with you something that very interesting thing that hit today. We have a guest with us today, but he's not really a guest. He's really going to be one of the chaverim of the Kollel, and he really had a very big part in many ways of being part of this Kollel. And everybody knows that what inspired me to start the Kollel Rosh Hashanah and to continue it for the last few months was the passing of my friend. And today is his yahrzeit. Today, when Mamish at the end of his yahrzeit, we just came back from Florida. We were this morning in Florida at the site of where it happened to say Tillim, and then we flew here and we came to the caver. And the part that today the Torah Chafei spoke to me, and I want everybody to say something, a sentence about what Torah Chafei, before we say goodbye, which I'm not saying goodbye. We don't say goodbye to the Torah because it's very hard to say goodbye from this Torah. But before we start a new Torah, I think that if everybody could express something that Torah Chafei did to them, today, yesterday, during this duration, a sentence without a... So today's thing of Torah Chafei, and it's so crazy that we were learning Torah Chafei this whole time, and the last day of Torah Chafei, officially the Torah Zmanis, came out on his yahrzeit. And while I was in Florida this morning, I was thinking about it, and I said, the Rebbe says that Ikar Kiyumai La'acha Masei Hu HaSeichel HaNikna. V'zeh Ikar HaSharoisav, right? I think that's the Lashon. The Ikar Kiyumai Shel Adam La'acha Misasoi Einoi Elo Seichel HaNikna. The Ikar Kiyum of a person after Misa is the Seichel HaNikna, V'zeh HaSharoisav La'acha Misa. This is what he leaves over. So, L'chaira, when the Rebbe is talking about this is what he leaves over, V'zeh HaSharoisav, what does it mean Hasharoisav? Hasharoisav means in this world, not in the next world. What is he leaving in this world? L'chaira, the question would be, the Seichel HaNikna, we always understand that as the Seichel HaNikna is the likus that's inside the Madama, or the likus that's coming from the Mikdash, however we're going to learn. We're not going into the analyzing of what the Rebbe says, but we're saying the Seichel HaNikna is something that lives on after you die. But then the Rebbe adds V'zeh HaSharoisav. And HaSharoisav means this is what he leaves over. He leaves over where? In this world. So a person that is forgotten means that he never got a Seichel HaNikna. So only a person that leaves over something, and what is it that he leaves over? Children, Kollel, Gemachim. What makes Hasharoisav Hasharoisav? And from learning the Torah, you see that the Rebbe is talking about every single Yitzhak Kol Adam. Yitzhak Kol Adam, that every single person has to work on this. Every individual, and if every individual has to work on it, that means on a certain level, every person, every individual has Seichel HaNikna. L'chayra comes out from the Rebbe that not only is Seichel HaNikna, the Seichel HaNikna, the Shara Kedusha, but even people who struggle their whole lives and they don't, it seems to be that they don't have a Seichel HaNikna. There is a Seichel HaNikna. Because Ikka Kiyuma Shel Adam La'acham Yisasai means every Adam, just like the Rebbe started the Torah, Ki Tzorach Kol Adam Lo Hitzi Yisatzmai. The Rebbe is talking about everybody. So everybody is challenged with the Madama, and everybody in some shape or form gets something called Seichel HaNikna, and everybody's Seichel HaNikna has a kiyum in this world, the Zeh Ikka Asher Oisav, and this is what's left over in this world. So to me, today, the fact that this all, I feel like Torah Chafei was a message from my friend to me, that you're in the Madama. First, know the 3-step program, that you're in the Madama, and everybody's in the Madama. But if you are searching in the Madama, you're choikim mishtamish, and you're looking for the Eibishter, and you're searching for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for the Seichel HaNikna, you should know that you're getting Seichel HaNikna. In some shape or form, you're getting Seichel HaNikna. And all you need to do is start living a life of awareness of I'm challenged constantly with the Madama, and I'm looking for Hashem. And the way that I break the Madama is through giving tzedakah, and through Simcha Shel Mitzvah, and the Simcha of Eskavos LaTzadikim, the Eskavos LaRabbanim Shalom. And in short, that's the real message of Torah Chafei, is that you could break the Madama with a shomer. You think that, and what's the shomer? The shomer is the smallest thing in the world, and yet was able to make the Beis HaMikdash and smoothen out the stones, and it was more powerful than stones because it wasn't just machniah, it was meshaber, it was metayr. The little things, we think that in order to achieve Seichel HaNikna, we have to go through the he has to come to the biggest level to get to Seichel HaNikna. But the Rebbe is telling you, no, the way to get to the Seichel HaNikna is through the shomer. And why the shomer? Because the shomer is the guy that's on the Madrega Tachtoina, the guy who's on the lowest level. Dafka, that guy is the only guy that could push up everybody to the highest level. Because the Rebbe says, and we all asked, remember when we asked that, is it only the guy on the Madrega Tachtoina that could push up the guy in the Madrega Elyoina? Or is the guy from the Madrega Elyoina? So after learning Torah Chafei for, 2 months, whatever we were learning this for, it seems that the Rebbe is dafka saying that the guy on the bottom, the only way for the guy on top, the other Ma'elyon, to go up, is dafka through the Madrega Tachtoina. So how's that shaykh? So I have to always be waiting for the guy in the Madrega Tachtoina? So we were talking.
No?
What?
Relative to the guy that's in the higher Madrega, he's on the lower Madrega. Because everybody on every level has the ability to push up everyone else above him.
Right. So that means everybody.
Relative to him, you're talking to Himeno.
Okay, so but what if there's 10 people, and the levels are 10, 1 through 10, and the guy in the bottom is level 1, going up to level 10. So level 10 has to wait for level 1 to push up level 2, to push up level 3, according to the Rebbe. That's what the Rebbe is saying. So I thought, we were talking in the car before on the way here, and I thought thing. I don't know if you remember, we asked by the Ani Hagam, who's the Adam Elyon or who's the Adam Atachman? We spoke about it Shabbos. Who is the guy in the bottom and who's the guy in the top? The guy who's giving tzedakah or the guy who's receiving tzedakah? And we said also that the Rebbe says, Da shekol neshama is zel malamiza. Each neshama is one on top of the other. But the Rebbe doesn't say the gam zel matamiza. If there's zel malamiza, there's also zel matamiza. So the Rebbe should have said both, or say lamata, just the same way as lamala. Why did the Rebbe choose to say zel malamiza? Now, again, this is not pshat. I'm not saying this in a disclaimer. I'm saying this is how I am finding the Rebbe in my journey, and it's also in the Torah. I'm not saying it that this is pshat in the Torah. Nothing is I'm not saying. I'm saying how I am living Torah Chafei. And that's why I want everybody to say something about Torah Chafei, but I just want to finish this thought. So I thought that possibly that maybe that the Rebbe is telling us, the Rebbe tells us afterwards that the Isha Yisraeli, he's the Makam HaGavnin, and the Gavnin is in the Kesef Azov. And when the Chlolim Zeh B'Zeh Yachad, when they get together, that creates the Gedula Sabara that breaks the Madam. So perhaps if we all, this is, open your hearts to this, because this is from a Regesh place, maybe not so much from a Seichel place. The Rebbe is telling us that if we look at every other person always, that he's on the Madrega Elyoina, he's the Adam HaElyon, and I'm the Adam HaTachton, that makes him an Ani Hagun. And the Ani Hagun is always the other person is giving me, not I'm giving him, but in order for me to go to the next level, I have to give tzedakah. I have to give him tzedakah because the Adam HaTachton has to be the one to push him up. And tzedakah is not just tzedakah in the Kesef Azov, but tzedakah is in every elevation of Seichel HaNikna. So the part that I feel, and the Rebbe calls it Harama, the Rebbe says it's picking up, and it's called Seichel HaNikna. So I thought, the Mishnah says, Asei l'charav, and we're going out of Torah Chafei now, so we're allowed to say something that doesn't say Torah Chafei, and be mekasher. But Asei l'charav, uknei l'chachav. How do you buy a friend? How does one buy a friend? How does one buy a friend? Everybody asks the question. Some people say you need to earn a friend. But what's the kinyan? How do you buy a friend? But how do you do it? So I thought that the Rebbe is telling you that when the guy that's on the Madrega Tachtoina pushes up the guy, his pnim goes up and makes chitzonius to the chitzonius that causes his pnim to go up because ein shnei bnei adam shavim zeh lezeh, and it can't be on the same Madrega. So maybe, and the Rebbe calls that harama, and the Rebbe also calls the pnim going up seichel hanikna, the word nikna. So maybe the pshat in the Knei L'Chachava is that the Seichel HaNikna, when I get a Seichel HaNikna, I push him up. That's the Kinyan. And in Lumdis, we know that one of the Kinyanim is the Kinyan Akbar. There's a Kinyan Akbar. So I thought that maybe if you connect all these things together, you say that the Knei L'Chachava is the Seichel HaNikna, and the Seichel HaNikna is what's going up, and that's the Harama. So it's apropos. You know what apropos means? And for the Yiddish-speaking people here, apropos means that it's a pasuk to zung. That today, the day that we're making the Sim, on Torah Chafei, that I'm on the Madrega Tachtoina. Friend is on the Madrega Elyoina. But the only way for him to go up is when I get the Seichel HaNikna. The only way for us to get the Seichel HaNikna is through the Heilige Rebbe and his Torahs, and living his Torah, and searching, because the Rebbe says through the Simcha that we have of the Skavis L'Tzadikim, and that we're connected to the Heilige Rebbe, that alone breaks the Madam, and that alone brings the Seichel HaNikna. So if we're making Kollel, and we're learning Torah, and we're learning Torah's Rabbeinu Be'in, and we're connecting to the Tzaddik, and we have a Simcha that we're connecting to the Tzaddik, then we're Zicha being a Knei L'Chachava, and we're picking him up to the highest levels. Yehei Zichrei Baruch, and may his Neshama have an Aliyah. I feel like he's in a whole different place. And, his name was Chayim. And when the night that we found him, which is exactly a year ago today, I was saying to him, the Isis, and today by the cave we said, and Ches, there's one pasuk that stood out there in Kapitel 10 of Ches, and it's ringing in my head every day since last year till today. Chaver ani l'chol asher yiruch. I felt like it's a message that he told me. And he's telling me the whole time, I'm still your friend, I'm still here. to all the things that you found in Yiras Hashem, and what I found in Yiras Hashem is the Heilige Rebbe. So with that, I want to be Masei Torah Chafei, even though I'm not being Masei because I don't know how I'm going away from it. And then, but before we start Torah Samachet, we'll start just to make a psicha. I wanted everybody to say something about Torah Chafei, that a sentence, a word, something about Torah Chafei that changed, that made an effect on you in your day-to-day, or any day, or any minute. Can we start with, just because you're on the edge of the table, you start over there. Anything that you have to say, and by the way, if you don't, I don't want to put you on the spot. If you have something to say, say. If not, just say, and we pass.
You see, it's hard. It's not because you fell. You turn to the next big madrega.
Gewalt. Ein Zeh Nefila Klal. So you're Shashayin. By the way, we were talking about the Ein Zeh Nefila Klal, that we're just when we're challenged with New Madam, we're going up. Gewaldig, Shkoich.
I feel like even when I'm down, I feel like totally out. It's keeping on you on the elevator, on the escalator. It's keeping moving. Even you go to sleep, but somebody's pushing you up.
Gewaldig.
Every situation is a dim, you just have to break through it.
And the only way out is through.
Yeah.
Gewaldig, Shkoich. Next.
Gaat me de ganze Welt is dat dim.
It's a bit the awareness.
Yep.
Matos?
I don't think it's the punchline of the Torah, but certainly what I got of it is that out of us of Klal Yisrael, that if a person does any tiny good thing, he's not only mal himself, he's mal the whole Klal Yisrael, the whole Bria. Everything goes up because of a person's nice. Any little thing you do, you're forcing the whole Bria up with you.
Beautiful.
Let's think, still processing it. The point of Cycle Nikna, the Rebbe tells us that everything you accomplish in life, you're getting it Cycle Nikna. That himself is Cycle Nikna, because in other places you don't hear that. You just, okay, you're doing, you're putting away for Odom Habu, you're gonna have like something, I don't know, you break through the thing, you get Cycle Nikna. That's a Nikna, that you know the fact that your good things is gonna be Nikna for you. That himself is a
Just knowing that
just
you can
knowing
get,
that
you can get to the acquired
accumulate.
knowledge. Gewaldig, Shkoich.
Not getting lost. And I'm a dame.
Not getting lost in
Kunt het
the
zeggen, dat hij-
knowing that it's dangerous, that it's a dangerous place.
No, that's not true.
And it's not true, and it's only in the Dhamma. It's just the Dhamma. Gewaldig.
I mentioned before that the shaman is cutting the stones. I think the different place, not certain that I lost it, that Hashem is going to take all them good toilets from every Eid and build up a mikdash. Because Allah will see every stone being put the toilet every Eid.
Gewaldig.
So
Beautiful.
I thought with this third buffet, everyone brought a little bit out. It's Swedish for spoil. And his and one from his friends once.
Gewaldig.
Everyone brings out the good toilet. The shaman.
Gewaldig. I just want to add to what you're saying. He's saying, you heard what he said? He said beautiful. He's saying that the whole Yisrael HaShabachah is spoiled. What the Rebbe says is the whole godless Abayim, that's the whole thing, is all coming from, I think this is what you're saying, from the Nechlalim Yachad, that we're together. So by the way, then this Kollel, I just want to say it's Gewaldig. I'm feeling so happy and proud that we did this. But I see that it's bringing a tremendous yachad here, Gewaldig. You want to say something? You always want to say something. So you have something to say for sure.
Well, when somebody says, he's on lowest of low, he's on level 1, right? And he says, who am I kidding? I'll never be able to make it. and I'll never be able to get the next thing of the ladder. Maybe he has to remember that there's a guy on level 100, so obviously he went up the ladder too.
Very nice. Wow, very nice. It's
Yeah,
great.
that's Chaim.
Mama's in the Torah. It's in the Torah what he said.
That's it. Tzvi, zazich mekarev, Tzvi, come here.
Yeah, Tzvi, say something. Tzvi, guys, Tzvi, our administrator, Nosson, tell
That's
Tzvi
right.
he's got to say something. The administrator.
Randy, we have a seat.
Mandy, come in.
Come.
Yeah, one second, Nosson, go ahead. One second, Nosson Harkey wants to, from Sichas Rebbe wants to say, go ahead, say something.
So I would like to thank Reb Nachman on a gewaldige chiddush that in your share with Moti Gottlieb that you said a gewaldige nakuda that the Rebbe is talking so much about this medama, and you said that the medama stems from a place. Medama is not just a made-up thing. It's stammt von ergens. And the person, this is what you said, and I'm repeating your words, and
You think I remember them? I have no idea. Go ahead.
And you have to be maled. You need to lift it up. You can't be stuck in the medama.
Yeah, 100%.
The medama, because you said the medama stems from a place where there is you're being a medama to something. It's not just it's a made up thing. You're drawing this demon from a higher place. And a person needs to know
Yeah, from
you
the
can't be
shoulders.
stuck with the madama. Could be you have
Yeah,
the
you get
madama,
trapped.
But the mice, you need to turn it over to the kedusha and grow in avodas Hashem with it. That's a chiddush that you said, and with me it changed my whole approach in the Torah. That the Rebbe is not just focusing on the madama. The madama is something you just need to make sure that you're drawing the kedusha, and don't be stuck with the dinyan.
Beautiful. Mom is beautiful. Okay, Rebbe, you definitely have something to say. No?
Learning this Torah every single day for just about an hour, and learning that all the mistakes that we go through is only in Dhamma. And there's a Sefer HaNikna in every situation. And slowly but surely starts penetrating the person and changing the day. Let's say, before I started learning this Torah, when I sat in traffic, it was much easier for me to honk at the guy in front of me. But now, I'm sitting there, I'm like, someone put me here. It's just a madame that some slow driver is sitting in front of me. It's much harder to honk at the guy.
Very practical. Very good. Want to say something?
Shmuel, hold on, you skipped Reb Shmuel.
Oh, sorry.
Shmuel.
Reb Shmuel, you want to say something?
What do you want to say about this lesson that we learned? You sat here with us.
I didn't catch enough of it.
Okay.
Reb Shir.
First of all, I want to say the clueless, the whole idea of going with the Torah. I have a lot of chiddushim. In this idea about coming and learning the Torah together a few months.
It's a good one.
The first thing, Mom, is that I recognized the first time in my life I didn't know a lot of Nikita Manam, but the first time that I recognized that when the Rebbe is talking something, one line in the Torah, it's not a motion. Everything is connected. It could be it's one of the Chai Kollel. I didn't learn deeply the Chai Kollel, but when you see something and you don't understand, that means that you don't understand the whole Torah. Not in a bad way, on a good way,
No.
to know,
So
to
try to
understand.
learn more.
Because the Rebbe was in a very different place than us. He wants to bring us up to his level. So you have to recognize that everything that he speaks in the Torah is to schlep you in his world, in his level. So when you see a line on the Torah, it's not so okay. No, it means the whole Torah. And the first time I recognized it, because if you're living in the Torah a few months, and you're seeing that every word. I'm getting inspired with this. You go to the card of everything. You see it in Bosik. So you see that everything is mamash so connected. Let's say a dig. The Rebbe says mamash that Surah Rishon Yishalach. Surah Rishon Yishalach. So the Rebbe wants to say that the clip is all every time you're in the condition. And a pasuk kiri, Surah Rishon Yishalach kiri, it's a smachta. So, but if you go deeper, you're seeing that the whole pasuk, that the pasuk it goes on the Mama Chazal goes on this pasuk, then
it's all connected.
Yeah, it's the same pasuk.
Yeah.
Krim Zilus the Vayodam is the same pasuk. This pasuk it buys. In the same pasuk says Sav Shom Sadamu. In the Gemara that says that it was his battle, the Shomer, the Nefesh Sefer. It's also the same pasuk.
So it's all connected.
Everything is on the same pasuk. So it's not. You sing a line that it doesn't mean. It's also it's mamash acharik of the binyan, and it's acharik that the Rebbe wants to slap you in, and this come to my level, because sometimes when you spoke about dimyan doesn't mean everybody means dimyan means in the illusion mamash things that doesn't happen. No, dimyan means mamash level.
It's real.
So. The expand the Torah, looking deeper and deeper in the Torah, you see it. Mamash the Rebbe is speaking about a different Madama, not the Madama that the world is calling Madama. Even they so. But a second thing, Sirikim, living with Chavayrim, so every day you are able to hear from a Chava a different Chiddush, so you have the ability to think Mamash at a different level. Let's say, so Nachman came to that, yeah? So he said about the Cycle Nikna, yeah? Mamash, two ideas that I was kind of telling. So the first thing is like, what means Cycle Nikna? Could be you meant it. So somebody spoke about somebody that was a cook. Good. He spoke about the cook or mechanic. So if you look about, so you're able to, if you talk about Dimyan, so you know, start to make chum, cake, this means okay, cook, no? But if you're going to Cycle Nikna, somebody told me, you know, this cook, he never gets angry. Even though he's a cook in a big camp and has a lot of his head. So the Cycle Nikna is, now that he's a cook, this is kind of Kadimya. Like I'm a Malamat, yeah? So there's a Malamat, there is a good Malamat, but there is a Cycle Nikna that the kids are coming out. This Malamat is a Yiddish Shema. This is the Cycle Nikna. And another thing that you talk about, that only hug, if you want to give tzedakah in a real way, you have to make the Ani should feel that he is doing me a favor.
Yeah. That was the that's the
so Hashem is doing it to us.
Wow.
Same thing, because Hashem he needs to outwellness. No, he make us feel as if he's not shaykh. Only when we daven, mamash he needs to have our davening. Mamash is not. It's going to be mamash. This means that you have to go the person that is in a big madrage. He has to make feel.
Yes, that he has.
That he's giving.
That's the vote that I was saying. That the perception, the Einayim, the Rebbe calls the Einayim B'Einay Hashem, the Chayim and the Einayim. After the Rebbe says in the Torah, is the perception always has to be
the noise has to feel that
the makabel is the noise. That the noise and the makabel.
The noise makes feel the makabel kili. The makabel is the noise.
Gewaldig. Rabbi Zalman. You have anything to add? Or you passing? Okay. So anyway, with this, let's be Messiah. It's not really a sin because we didn't even start the Torah, but we have to move on. And Mir Hashem next week. I just want to stop and say the Olam wants to continue after Tisha B'Av. I'm making sure that we're going. There's no Ben Zman. Is that what we're saying? We're going Vata. So now we're starting Torah Samachay. Let's officially make episode. I think if anybody's looking to Maran, let's learn it together. I don't know, and I didn't look it. I'm just saying, I don't know if somebody else did, but let's learn it together, and let's just see an approach of how to learn a little bit.
So how this is 21.
Yeah, Mati, we could start. Yeah, Vayoyma Boya. By the way, there's what I remember about the Torah. The Rebbe brings beautiful lashonos here, beautiful mesholim. But Vayoyma Boya Zorus. Haloi Shamat Biti Al Teirchi Lilkoi Basoda Acha Gam Loi Savuri Mizeh. So help me out. I think he's talking about when she came to that Boaz wanted Reb Shir. Didn't Boaz want that Ruth should come take from from his son and not go to anybody else because he was a relative of Noemi, right? I told all my workers they shouldn't touch the leket shikha peya, but so mis v'alacht ala kelim v'shasis ma'asher yishav anaram. In other words, he was telling her, come in, eat what you need, drink what you need, take whatever you need.
She took leket shikha peya, and Bועז told her you should be like everyone.
You should be like everyone. You could get, you're equal.
Yeah.
You're equal. Zog the Heilige Rebbe, yeah, Chavra, we're all going in. Ready? Start. Now, let's just listen to the words that the Rebbe is saying and let's try to connect to them. Ki yesh sod. There is a field, v'sham gedelim, ilonois, masovim, yofim, v'noim oid. There's a field and there's beautiful trees and plants that are beautiful, yofa v'noah. I don't know what the difference between yofa and noah. Obviously, we're going to ask these questions, but right now we just want to hear the words. The goydel yakar yoifi asoda v'gidulav I efshel esaper. And the Rebbe had such a beautiful poetic way of and we see it in Spermizes. Usually in the Kutamran you don't see it so much, even though in Torah Chavei he also has these languages, Mesnar and Agavnin. It's a beautiful language. You ever heard this thing, Mesnar and Agavnin? And the colors illuminate. It's poetic. So the Goydel Yikar Yoifi Asoda V'Gidulav Ef Shel Esaper. It's impossible to talk about. It's so beautiful that it's impossible to talk about. So I don't understand. I'm not saying from any the emes I don't understand. There's such a thing that beauty silences you. When you
Takes your breath away.
So the awe is fear. Isn't awe more in the place of fear?
Nachman, who says awe only comes from fear? Anything that's beyond your communication level, that's what brings awe, no?
Could be. I'm not asking and challenging.
No,
I really don't know.
When we see a nice thing,
Like
the nicer it is.
dumbfounded.
Dumbfounded.
Wow.
We're in awe of the one
I'm
that
so
created
dumbfounded. It's the same thing. It's awe. We're speechless. In other words, speechless means something can inspire me so big, and it seems like it's the beauty of it is inspiring me so big that I can't talk about it. I'm speechless.
There isn't a word in the dictionary for it.
What?
There isn't a word in the dictionary for it. It's
Of what?
nice.
There's nothing. There's no word. There's no word to describe it. Is it no word to describe it, or I can't? The Rebbe says, "Ef shel esaper." I can't talk about it.
Because it exceeds our brain, Nachman. It exceeds what our brain, the capacity of our brain. Sometimes we come across a situation which something is beyond the capacity of our brain. If you're used to an apple that's the size of an apple. If you see an apple the size of, I don't know, half the universe, you'll be, wow.
Yeah. So I hear. So you're saying that
It's like Ein-Sof. If you don't have what to say,
It's unlimited.
Yesh Sof.
if it's limited, there's some way to describe it. So then you're saying there's no way to describe it.
Like Ein-Sof.
So it's different than I can't Ef shel esaper. I can't.
There's no right word.
In other words, I can't describe it. There's no way for me to define it, to categorize it. I get it. Okay. Very nice. Shkoyer.
He's talking about
What?
the Gan Eden, he's not talking about the physical field.
Yeah, versteht sich. Well, we're going to see in a second. The Rebbe is going to tell us, right? Ashrei ayin, but the Rebbe is still saying, Ashrei ayin roas hazois. That means even though I can't describe it, But because I can't describe it, that's why Ashrei Ayin, that means if you were able to see something that you can't describe, Ashrei Ayin Rasazos. Praised is the eyes that saw such a beautiful thing. Okay? And these trees and these plants that are in this field, they are the neshamas that grow in this field. I'm going to go a little faster because I want to finish Sifalav even just to say the words. And then and there are many kama v'kama. I don't know if many, but there are kama v'kama. Again, what's kama v'kama? But there are neshamas, that naked neshamas, sheim noim v'nodim, that they are not resting. They're what's not navanad, that they're constantly chased. Navanad, what is it? Help anybody.
Wackeldig.
What?
Unstable.
Unstable. Very good. I like that. Navanad means unstable. Okay.
Searching something.
What is it?
Not grounded, always running to something else. No, he's mixed.
Zavi. Navanad. Yes. I like unstable. I identify with it much better. So navanad, that so where's the logic? Yes, coming on Hashem noim v'nodim mechutz lasoda, and they're not inside the soda. Umamtinun matzat malal tikkun, and they're sitting and they're waiting for the tikkun, for their sheyuchlu loshu v'lichnois al mekayimim, that they're able to return to their place. So that means that these neshamas were once inside the soda, and now they're not inside the soda. The gam afil neshama gdoila, and there's also this big neshama. Shabbat tluyim kama neshamas, that there are many neshamas that are dependent on this neshama. Fa'omim kishehi yotzes lachutz, when this neshama, sometimes when it goes out of the soda, koshala lachzal neshama. It's very hard for this neshama to return back into this field. Ve'im kulam mevakshim umetzapim al bal hasoda, and they're all searching and waiting and hoping.
This means kama v'kama. Neshamas are even the two kinds of neshamas. The neshamas that
You're saying a pshat?
in kama v'kama.
Yeah, but I don't want to say pshat yet. I just want to hear the words of the Rebbe yet. Where we have 3 months, we're going to be, believe me, we're going to be talking about kama and lisapa, and we're going to go and be medayik everything. But right now, let's just hear the words of Sivalov. Sorry. So that the Baal Soda could, the Baal Soda is the one who could work on fixing them. Yesh neshama, and there is a neshama shetikuna yidei misa shalecha, that the only tikkun that this neshama has is when somebody dies, or yidei mitzvah avodah shalecha, or through a mitzvah and avodah of somebody else. Me sheroitz alach g'mosna. And it seems like the Rebbe is saying anybody could be the Baal Soda. You just have to want it. Misha roitza, lach g'mosna. Anybody who wants to tie the gartel, right? Lach g'mosna is to tie the gartel. Lahachnes atzmai lios hu ha-Baal Soda. That he wants to take it on himself, that he's going to be the Baal Soda. Tzorich lios ish amud v'takif. What's the amud? Amud is... What define amud? Anybody in English? What? Upstanding. The takif, strong. The gibar chayil and a warrior. The chacham and a smart, wise person. The tzaddik gadol, a pious person. Ma'oid. Ki tzarich liyos adam gadol umuflik b'mala ma'oid. Because this person has to be a tremendous, superior human. Adam muflik begadol b'mayla ma'oid. Yesh echad, and there are those, or there is one. Well, we're gonna have to be medayik on that. Is it there are those, or there is one? But yesh echad, there's one tzaddik she'einu yochel ligmar inyan, that he can't finish being mesakin these neshamas ki im isosei, only when he dies. Afilu lezeh, and even to be this tzaddik that's able to be mesakin through his passing, he has to be very, very big. Because there's many, many big people. that even when they die, they cannot be misakin these neshamas. I mean, we all know that the Rebbe said there's alofim or revovim neshamas that were waiting the 6 right before the P'tira, right? That he said there were alofim or revovis, hundreds of thousands of neshamas that were waiting for his ticket, that through his misa. But if there is this one person that's a muflig, that's superior, that's a gadol.
Nachman, can I make one diak?
Of course, Chaim.
It seems to me, like I learned this before, that the Rebbe is trying to say that even if you're the biggest son and you're not smart, you're not upstanding, you're not firm, you don't have all these other qualities, you're not going to make it. It seems like you have to be not just the biggest, greatest tzaddik, you really have to have some skills.
My
That's
friend,
what it seemed to me.
Reb Chaim, I think there's no secret. I don't think there's one person that's in this room here now or on Zoom right now that doesn't understand that the Rebbe was talking about the tzaddik hamiyuchad. There were only 5 tzaddikim miyuchadim in the history, and we believe this with every inch of our bones and atzmias that we're talking about in Ikvis and Mashiach. The Rebbe is talking about the Heilige Rebbe himself, and that is this tzaddik that he's talking about. I mean, that we don't have to be medayik, that we don't have to be ma'ayin, we don't have to search. It's clear as day that that's what he's talking about.
On the other hand, he said that everyone can be it.
Yes. So, but who was the one who achieved it? Who got to this place? Who is the one that would achieve it? That's what we're all here for. That's what we're doing. We're connecting to this tzaddik, and that's basically what the Rebbe is telling us.
I have no problem with that, but it can still be both. Meaning,
yes, I agree. I agree. I agree.
Talent.
I agree, Chaim. I just wanted to make the point because let's get into the Rosh Hashanah mode. You know, it's time to start remembering when it's 12 hours of traveling to Oman, and it's extra 12 hours, and there's a war, and sakonos nefashos. Should I go? Shouldn't I go? But when you know and understand that we need the Bala Sada, that there's no chance that we're getting, if we're talking about neshamas nav and nad michutz. I don't know about you, but he's talking about me for sure. And I need him to take me out. So we need to understand that when we're talking about the Bala Sada that's going to fix, we need the Bala Sada. But Stam, I want to tell you a very interesting thing. My father, I just reminded myself, my father, Lashon, the first time he went to Oman in 1969. So his whole life, he went, since he's 10 years old, he was a Breslov chassid. And Rabbi Rosenfeld was, he conditioned them with a munah she'en kamayim, and he couldn't wait to go to the Rebbe's scene. It was like the biggest. I found a letter from my father in 1958. He was 12 years old, that he wrote to Moshe Eisenmesser, that he said to him that he was in the Mir Yeshiva, that he davened Rosh Hashanah at the Mir Yeshiva because his mother didn't let him go to the east side. I think I said it in one of the shiurim over here. And he closed his eyes and he imagined, he was medama. He closed his eyes and imagined that he's with Breslov Chassidim, and that he asked Hashem that next year he should be zoicha to be in Oman Rosh Hashanah. In 1958, severe Cold War, communist Russia, there was no chance. But the Ritzoinus to want to be there. And I'm talking to myself, be'emes. You know, we take for granted, we had a really long run of taking for granted. We go to the Rebbe's scene whenever we want. We need the Ritzoinus. We need to be ma'oyer the Ratzon, that the Bala Soda is the only way we can get a ticket, the only way that we're going to get. And every year he comes and he gives these gewaldige tikkunim, and he says, come to me not for you, come to me for me, because I need you. All year, come to me for you. So we have to remember and start getting into it. I hope this week to go do residency, and I'm encouraging anybody to do it, because why take a chance? Hopefully we won't need it, but you're ready to not. Yeah, one second. But you're ready not to. You're ready to say, if it doesn't work, I'm going to be here. Yeah, this is what you're ready to say? I'm not. I'm not ready to say that. So, just as we're talking about the Baal Soda, just being Ma'ir the Olam, I'm sorry, Rabbi Zalman, I know that this is interior talk, but it's mostly interior. This Pnimim, and your Chitzon, and your Chitzon is becoming a Pnim now, so it's all going to work. Okay, so let's just finish the scene. Afil is that tzarich li es godol moiki yesh kam gam gedolim shafil in misosam lo yoilu rakim yesh odom godol muflik b'mayla ma'oil yochel ligma ma shetzarich b'chaim chayusei ki harbe yisurim b'dvarim koshim oivenov, because this person is going to go through very difficult yisurim. Ach yidei gadlusay malosay oiv al kulam. But since he's such a moiridig stark person, he's able to conquer all the yisurim and all the nisyonis. V'oisem pulas asada. And he's a good worker and he knows how to fix the field. And he's zoicha to actually fix and to bring them into the field. Then it's, I don't know what he's saying, but let's just say the words. When the Balasoda comes to the Shleimas, that's the time to be mispal. What? Until now, there wasn't a time to be mispal. But let's just say the words.
Or the notes.
And I'm not pretending to know, I'm just saying the words. I said, we're saying the words. I didn't learn this Torah. We're starting together. As I tell you, because then the tefillah is on its tikkun. And this Balasoda that achieved this place of being able to be over al kulam. And I mean, the Rebbe put a big recipe over here. A big, there's a lot of ingredients. And he's fixing the field, and he's it's interesting. The part of fixing is distancing. When you want to make things neat, you have to separate them. Sometimes we see distance as distance. Sometimes distance is closeness. That's part of the tikkun. So that one doesn't interfere with the other one. Because sometimes you have to show of somebody who's very close tremendous richuk. So that he doesn't, what's the word, yakhish? He doesn't weaken his friend. So I just want to say that we said Sif Aleph. I don't understand anything. Not from the beginning to the end. I'm not saying something. But what I do hear, the words that I hear is that there's a field, and there's a beautiful field, and what? And the neshamas and the field, these ilanas and asavim, all different neshamas, and not everybody's zeicher to be in the field, and you need the balasoda in order to make seder in the field and for the people out of the field, and we have to search for the balasoda. That's what I know right now, and but we're starting. Baruch Hashem, we met Aschala, and Kol Aschala is kosher. But let's go. The only advice I'm giving going forward is go through the Torah 3-4 times. Just go through it. Get the language, even though you don't understand. Just like we did now. That's why I did it purposely this way, is to show that I don't understand anything. I'm just listening to words, and I'm going to go through it 4 or 5 times before I even start to ask questions of kama v'kama. I see them, and then we're going to start challenging together. And we're going to try to make it into a Rishon Derais over here. And this Torah is going to probably take us to a new level, a new madrega. And we be zoicha that we should tackle be zoicha to be by the Rebbe Rosh Hashanah Mietz Hashem, all of us, without any shverikaiten, and that we should be zoicha to the tikkun HaGadol for once and forever, that Mashiach should come b'meir v'yameinu.
Nachman, if I may just express my appreciation, my thanks, first of all, to all the Ingalat, unbelievable, like to steal a line from the Rebbe's Torah, Mamish Ashrei Ayin Ras Azais, the Chevra sit here, look at what, 20 Chevra here, Shkayach, Mezidz you saw how everyone's mepluktach in the Torah, everyone's kvetching and wants to understand the Rebbe's words, so Ashrei Ayin Ras Azais, Shkayach Nachman, Shkayach Mendy for bringing this Kollel to us.
By the way,
it's Mamish a dream come true, right?
Everybody should know that Mendy Rudness and my Chavrusa, he inspired me. He really inspired me to start the Kollel. I didn't. He was the first one to step up to the plate to say, "Go do it," and I'll give you my back.
There's really no words to describe the schus that you bring to our shul with all this, you know, the words of the Rebbe. It's amazing. And just to say to Rabbi Rosenberg, I don't know if you know your first name, Yehuda, and your father's schus. Again, you see the Rebbe talks. I mean, we have no clue. We have no idea the cheshbonos of the Rebbeinu Shalom. But you see here, the Rebbe says that sometimes a great neshama has to go through this inyan of going to the next world to be matakan others. So look what your father has brought to us. Without your father, we wouldn't be sitting here. And mamish mezitz the melant, unbelievable. So there's no doubt in my mind that your father is sheping nachas. I have a great aliyas neshama, and he will continue to climb and elevate all of us together. Shkoyach, Hashem.
Wow, Mati, shkoyach. That was a bomb. Bomb.
It's a bomb.
Chabura, Everybody said something so special. Mamish, it's about. Chayim ben Atar. I said that the last, when was it? Was the Yudal and the father said this going forward to be Yudal. So he was Chayim ben Yitzchak and he was Chayim ben Atar. So we did the Nafshi, and it was 1-1, right? So we did it, I don't know how, but that day someone said it was 4-1. He said, exactly, you know what the Kollel means, that you can take, but the Kollel.